makes me happy to see the pictures. It's a happy space. There are several moments in this project that bring me a lot of joy when I look at them. One of them is the powder room. We did an unexpected wall covering. It's the Gucci Heron wall covering in the powder room, and what I love particularly about it is the whole rest of the condo is very neutral, and then you open the door and there are these gorgeous summery green walls and oversized birds looking down at you, and it's just the coolest thing. So I love that. I love the bronze mirror backsplash. I love the reflective ceiling that we put in. I love the bedroom, the primary bedroom walls. We put in this kind of tambour looking, reeded wall panel detail, and put jib doors in, into the bathroom and into the closet in that wall system. So that was really cool. I mean, there were a lot of great moments that came out of this little small space. It's really turned out well, I think. I love intimate spaces, and I love the challenge of making them feel luxurious even though they're small. Editing and knowing when to stop helps something feel luxurious, in my opinion, because you want more. So if you walk into a space and everywhere you turn and everything you look at is inviting and appealing, and it leaves you wanting to see more, in my opinion, that is a really well done, well edited, luxurious space. And also, one of the things that I love about a small space is playing with a darker color in a small space. I think sometimes people shy away from that, but honestly, it also is what evokes those feelings of like a warm hug, when you go in a room, or a little surprise. The condo, the way that it looked when my client purchased it, the finishes that came with it, the walls were a very stark white, like a paper white. The floors were a light gray wood-looking tile, and the cabinets were bright red cherry with a bright blue cabinet on the kitchen island. So it was very patriotic. The hardest part of that project was waiting and watching all of the standard finishes go in, and then waiting for our turn to get them all back out. So it was a good day when we were able to start demo. My client really wanted it to just feel warm and cozy and toasty, being so high up on the 21st floor. That was the initial request from my client, was to transform it from this kind of colder space into a warm, cozy, homey kind of a space to spend time in. We played with scale, we played with texture. It's just a fun thing to do in smaller spaces. You can really play around with it and have a good time, and you don't have to be so serious. So it's a lot of fun. When we inherited this condo from the Condo Association, the lighting package that came with it was very basic, and one of my favorite things is lighting. We ended up going with the Lutron Ketra system and added some recessed lights throughout, set those lights to follow the daytime lighting so that the interior light quality was balanced with outside. We have all these beautiful sweeping views of downtown Miami and South Beach, and it's floor-to-ceiling glass in several of the rooms, and we needed that balance. We also added in some reflective finishes on ceilings to help, kind of brighten up that plane that usually goes into shadow. So there was a lot of fun things that we did to just make it feel properly lit, but without that direct light in your face all the time. And that was our philosophy for lighting for this project. So we selected the finishes and textures for this project basically by working with my client, who loves tactile things. I think that is just one of the greatest things that she just enjoys about designing the most, is toasty, warm colors that just feel rich and soft. We used hardware to add a little shine. So when we changed our palette to the kind of the creams and the toasts and little touches of black, we just felt like that kind of bronze and brass colors would be pretty, and just add an exclamation point to each of the pieces we applied them to. So we went in and used the the brass hardware. I went in and added brass detailing to all of the interior doors, which really just took a basic, boring slab door and upgraded, elevated the look of it tremendously with just one simple move. She really loves the feel of things and loves to run her hand across it and make sure that it feels good or that it's soft to sit on. Layering textures without creating chaos is kind of a balance. It's like a little dance that we do. And the things that you have to pay attention to are definitely the values of the colors that you're putting on top of each other, as well as the scale of the textures. You want to make sure that when you're layering those textures that you're not creating some kind of a confusing pattern. With our fabric choices, we just really wanted to make sure that we never repeated the same texture twice, that we had, implemented lots of different textures, that we used a range of color within our palette of taupe and cream, and that we were able to bring in a little bit of pattern here and there, and we played with the scale of the pattern. There's just different ways that fabrics are made, and when they layer on top of each other, it can be interesting. So for this, I would say it started as a monochromatic project. It ended up with, really pops of black, which, to quote Dorothy Draper, every room needs a touch of black. It just adds a little pop, and then also some greens and some blues, which are nature's colors. And then you'll put them all together, and then you stand back and really just look at it again with that editing eye. The process of design is creating and editing. And there's usually, one thing that you can take away. So I like to put that into practical practice, where we put everything together that we love, we stand back, and you take one thing away. And usually that's it. So that's how we get there. And I think it all came together beautifully.